I've talked about remakes on this channel before. Now let's talk about the remake of a remake. The Magnificent Seven, and yes, I'm keeping that hat on for the rest of the review. Now, The Magnificent Seven was directed by Antoine Fuqua, who is known for movies like The Equalizer and Training Day. The film stars Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke, Chris Pratt, Vincent D'Onofrio, and a couple others. And as I said in my intro, this film is a remake of a remake. I mean, essentially it is a remake of the John Sturges Magnificent Seven film starring Steve McQueen and Yul Brynner. But that film was a remake of the Akira Kurosawa film Seven Samurai. Yeah. In case you didn't know, now you do. So the plot is very similar. I mean, essentially it is the same plot. We have a village that is being terrorized by a horrible person, a bandit and his group of bandits. And desperate as the townspeople are, they turn to a bounty hunter played by Denzel Washington. He agrees to help them out, so he recruits 6 other people and they intend to fight these guys. And now we have our movie. Now going into this movie, I was looking forward to it. I'm always interested to see a director who is known for a specific genre taking on something new. I mean, Antoine Fuqua, I've loved his work so far. Training Day is, in my opinion, one of the greatest police movies or police corruption flicks, if that's even a genre. But yeah, Training Day is phenomenal. The Equalizer, great. I think he pulls the best performances from Denzel Washington, similar to Quentin Tarantino, who always pulls the best performances from Samuel L. Jackson. So I was looking forward to that. And I want to see if this guy could do a Western, because a Western is so much more than people just firing weapons and wearing cowboy hats. Yeah, the cinematography has to work. The style, the feel, the soundtrack, it all has to work. And I can say he pulled it off. That guy knows how to direct a Western, and I was really pleasantly surprised by that. From the opening shot, we have wide shots of landscape, we have the Twain-ish music, people riding into the sunset, and the big Mexican standoffs that are done very, very, very well. So yeah, right there, Antoine Fuqua, please give us more Westerns, because I love me some Westerns, and that was a great one. Also, the action in this film is phenomenal. Seriously, the shootout sequences, they are tension-filled, they are gritty, and I was like, whoa, this movie is PG-13, but they're really, really pushing it. But again, that's not me complaining. That is me admiring something. And now, let's talk about the characters. First up, Denzel Washington. Do I have to tell you that Denzel Washington is an amazing actor? He fucking is, and he delivers another great performance. He is really this force to be reckoned with. From the get-go, you see this guy ain't messing around. This guy is not to be trifled with. He is a badass. He's a great gunslinger, and he just has the persona down. You absolutely believe him as the leader of these ragtag sort of group of misfits that are there to save the day. Chris Pratt, I would consider him the second most important character in the movie, because the movie essentially, I mean, the most fleshed out characters are Denzel and Chris Pratt's character, and I loved him again. Yes, some people say his role is too similar to Star-Lord. I beg to differ. He has that gambler vibe going on, something that Westerns normally have. Normally a Western has the sort of funny guy that's really good with cards, but he's also a complete badass, a great gunslinger. What can I say? Another great performance by Chris Pratt. I loved him in this movie. I loved him in Guardians of the Galaxy. Put him in more stuff. And Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is back. And it's so great to see Denzel and Ethan Hawke back in one movie. And the both of them have great chemistry again, just like they did in Training Day. He's great. There were a couple times where I felt his character to be the most emotional one. You could really tell that things in the past affected him. And he played that part very, very well. Then there's this one dude called the Mexican. I think, at least this is how they called him in the trailer. And that's essentially his role. He's the Mexican of the crew. To me, this was the one character that was not fleshed out at all. Then we have the Native American dude. He is awesome. I mean, he doesn't say a lot, but he is the straight up warrior of the crew. And the assassin dude, I mean, that's the one dude who's not even really a gunslinger. He makes use of stabbing weapons. He's a complete badass. Him and the Native American are probably the most badass people of the group. Loved both of them. Great action sequences. Also, the stunt work that they did, brilliant. But let's get right to it. Vincent D'Onofrio. Holy shit. That guy surprised me the most because I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of his work. But I didn't even recognize him in this film. He was that good. And what he does with his voice is incredible. And our villain, I'd say he's a run-of-the-mill villain, but you really hate his guts. So yeah, I did understand the motivation. I felt the need to bring him down and bring him to justice, which is why he worked for me in the movie, but he was just eclipsed by all the other characters. Now, as I said, this movie really delivers when it comes to the action. I absolutely mean that. The shootouts are just brilliant, especially the final act. The final act is much more epic than the final act of the original. But the down part of this movie is that you kind of already know how it plays out. It doesn't add a lot new to the Western genre. It's not revolutionary. There's nothing that makes you go, oh, I really didn't see that coming. But for what this movie set out to do, and that is being a remake of a beloved John Sturges classic, I believe it did a fine job. Despite a couple lengths, like throughout the second act, the movie does drag on a little bit. The payoff in the finale is worth the wait. I had a fun time with this movie, and especially this year has not been the greatest year for blockbusters. And this movie came along and surprised me, which is why I gotta say that The Magnificent Seven gets a silver medal. Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of this film. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's absolutely worth your time and money. So The Magnificent Seven, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. And thank you guys, as always, for watching. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then just subscribe. Yeehaw!